Well, welcome back to another live with Dr. Eve. Hope all is well. Welcome to where we talk about sustainable living and all things building a strong home economy. And guess what, y'all? That is exactly what we are doing here in our mini retreat homesteading space, you guys. I am creating a mini homestead where people can come and visit Airbnb to have fresh eggs, fresh food, fresh berries, fresh evergreen, fresh camping, fresh the things, right? And so today, though, right now, though, I am talking about new plant ads. New plant ads to my tea space. Y'all know I be rocking the art, right? I be repurposing some of the stuff in the house that I don't use anymore because why? Because we create art in the garden, right? Art deco in the garden because y'all, do y'all even understand how therapeutic it is to be so artsy? Because I am an artsy perennial type girl, right? So I love this stuff, and what I'm talking about today, we are working on a new plant. And this new plant I've had in the garden for a couple of months now. It's called Catmint, otherwise known as catnip. And so, what I am learning now is that it's more important for me to understand the plant than anything else. Because if you don't understand the plant, you just be going out here willy nilly, just planting stuff, and baby, it be failing. Okay. So what we not going to do because we live in eternally over here. And now we might run into some issues, but there's always a solution that God gives us for the issue we about to run into that might affect our ability to live eternally. All right. So let's just keep it 1,000. So what I'm doing right now is I am working with a plant called catmint, otherwise known as catnip. And I had this plant for a while, and yeah, allowed it to. I've been trying to keep it alive because y'all know when I go to the nursery, I come back with everything, but I don't know everything about everything, right? so, so since I don't know everything about everything, sometimes the plants be looking parched. Trying to keep them alive, they start flowering because I've been trying to keep them, because I haven't had time to get to that plant yet. Y'all stop going to the store buying things. Work on your I'm learning project by project. I'm learning how to do things, on a project basis. Hey Elisa, good to see you. We are talking about catnip today. I have got two felines, two Brazilian short hair. I think they're Brazilian short hair. They're my daughter's cats, and they're here now. And we got catnip on deck. So I've had it for a while, and I'm preparing now the catnip for to dry for them and I'm learning about it, and that's the most important thing. The purpose of this live is to have discussions about plants as well. This particular live is to talk about how we build out our mini homestead retreat space and the way we add things to them and how we as creators learn about how the things that we are entering into our gardens. One thing I don't want to do is waste time. Whenever I find that there's a problem, I'm always going to be looking for the solution. But why not be ahead of the game? Why not introduce a problem to your garden when you can be ahead of the game? Is that to say that you won't have a problem? Absolutely not. It means that at least you will have some foreknowledge about what you're about to put in your garden. So I've never dealt with catnip. I've heard about it before, but I've never dealt with it. And I had two plants that I bought um, because they were beautiful, because I have a garden, because I it comes back again because y'all know I'm a perennial girl, but I hadn't dealt with it. So this is the plant that I'm working with right now. I just cut her back and I'm still working on her. So as y'all can see, there she is. She's looking kind of parched, but we're cleaning her up right now. We are taking off the flowers because we want to keep the seeds, right? We're taking off the flower. She has went to flower. She has so many seeds, and we're taking off the leaves because you love plants. At least I do too, like in major ways, inside and outside. And so I am working on getting the leaves and the seeds because, again, we run a tiny homestead that has now become a retreat space, Airbnb. We're about to build out a log cabin in the back, and so that we can have visitors. So it's agritourism, y'all. It's what it's all about. Agritourism. It smells so good, y'all. It smells so strong. These are the seeds. Oh my goodness. These are the seeds that come from the catnip. And so I am in my little tea bowl garden out here, y'all. Y'all know I be setting the table. I be setting the table out here. This is my new table set. I decided to repurpose for outside. It's got a beautiful green plate that goes with it. So what's this plant called? It's called catmint. It's in the book it's called Nepeta. So I have a book that I went to the used bookstore and found, and it's called Perennials. Perennials for every purpose. Uh-oh, stuff getting ready to start flying. Perennials for every purpose. Why? Because I don't like to go down rabbit holes on the internet. I love the internet for what I can use it for, but I don't like rabbit holes. So when I'm studying something, when I'm learning about something, I'm a book person. I'm going to the book to find out, and then maybe I will YouTube like catnip. It's got to be topic specific, and I think that's where many of us go wrong, or many people go wrong, because they get to exploring the internet and be studying something else other than what they came there for, or spending time losing time because you're in front of your computers all the time. So I believe that computers are amazing. I studied them for my doctoral program, the use of technology and practice, but I also know that use it for practice and find your mind, your way back to your life, okay? Because it will take your life away from you. And so so let's talk about catnip for a second. Uh-oh, y'all, it's windy out here. I gotta get control over this. Cause my catnip flying all over the place. I don't want my seeds to go. So let's talk about the catnip plant for a second. The catnip is saying here the growing tips. Number one, it says there are 4 or 5 distinctly different catmint sold under the same name, so you have to be really careful. There are some sterile catmint hybrids. What that simply indicates to me is that they don't produce. Well, I ain't interested in nothing that don't produce. All right. So it has to be. My goal is make, manage, and multiply in every area of my life, including planting. Right. And so this particular catmint. So you have to look for the ones that actually do provide you with with more. And so that's what I did. I have the flowering purple flower. um, it says here that Neptune, the bloom color is blue, lavender, pink, or white. And I have lavender blooms. I don't know if you can see them, but I'll show you here. If you can see, they are lavender blooms. Let's see if you can see that. Lavender blooms, right? So they come, and the bloom time is early summer or early fall. So this is just a profile of the plant itself, which I think is healthy to know. The length of the bloom is 2.5 months. The height varies according to the species, so you will need to see the individual listings for the type of plant that you have. Um, the spread of the catmint varies also by species. And here's how you can use the catnip. Isn't it pretty? Here's how you can use the catnip. You can use it in a container planting. And you know that here on the homestead mini retreat space, we grow in containers, in the ground, in beds, in hanging pots, grow tents, greenhouses. We grow in everything that we could put some dirt in. Okay. So container planting, you can use it as edging. You can also use it as a ground cover. You can mass plant it, right? You get mass planting. You can put it in a rock garden. Now, I didn't even know that, but wow, that's cool. Because, I mean, what if you had a rock garden, which I plan to have one, right? Because I believe in gardens, right? On the homestead has to be beautiful. It's a retreat space, and in a retreat space, you're building kind of like a cottage effect, more or less. So it's a little different than just growing food. Food is a forest, food forest. I'm growing cottage, retreat, homestead, Airbnb, mini retreat, all the things combined. Because I live here too. I live in this big home, but we also have Airbnb spaces within it. And I want people to, we grow chickens, so I want people to be able to get fresh food. I want to be more like, hey, this is my bed and breakfast, right? We want to be able to offer you culinary experience as well. So I have a lot going on in my head, and slowly but surely it's coming to pass. Another way that you can use your catnip is with in a woodland garden. You put yours in a pot. I put my plant in a pot sometimes. Yes, you can put them in pots. You can put them in a tea kettle. Listen, that's art, right? That's art, right, Elisa? That's art. And you can plant in anything. So be careful how if you are a gardener, be careful how you throw things away. Because the other day I was taking things to I was taking things to the Goodwill, and I was like looking back saying, you know what, you could have made this out of that. But then I also believe in gifting things to people. So I don't have to keep everything, but I am strategically thinking about how I keep things to for art deco in the garden. Like for example, I have a wine bottle holder out there because I'm going to paint some wine bottles and put them out there, right? Because what, I love art and I can paint wine bottles. I also have out there a beautiful metal frame. I like metals, so I look for metals when I'm shopping. Let's get back to the plant. I don't want to get too off topic. So you can plant them along paths or on slopes. Now, when you say path, look at, yesterday I got sick of this path right here. This path right here was given, I was like, I cannot weed this another day. So last night, before I went to bed, baby, I land fabric that thing. I said, it will not rain here another day and keep growing weeds on this here garden entrance. Because that's a pretty long garden entrance. That's the pathway that leads to the house. But back there is where the cabin's going to be built, right? So what did I do? This is a pathway, y'all, where you can actually plant catnip. It says you can plant it on pathways. I wanted to give you an example of what that looked like. Okay, so baby, when there's a problem over here, I'm solving it because I'm not going to get back up with that problem again. Okay, because what we not going to do over here is work too hard, right? I believe in working smarter and not harder. Hey, Glenn, let's go. Good to see you in the house. So back to this catnip plant that we are working on. It also prefers, now this is the thing that you have to think about, because a lot of times we grow plants and we put them in the ground and we be guessing. Baby, I'm not into guessing no more. Like, I'm not wasting no money. I'm not going to keep buying things like that. It's got to give me more of something, just like these over here. Let me just share. Look, you see them? I made 7 plants out of one yesterday. I took one plant, propagated it, and made 7. Because what we're not going to do is keep spending. All right, we have to budget. Do you have any plant fruit? Yes, I do. I got blueberries and blackberries, raspberries and bananas, and waiting for them to fruit though. This is the 3rd year. I'm hoping they'll fruit this year. and just all kinds of fruit. And now I have 6 roselle bushes, so it's about to be a forest for real out here. So let's talk about this plant a little bit more, because I don't want to get too far off track. But y'all, when y'all ask questions, I like to answer them. So you can plant this. It prefers full sun, full sun to partial shade. This is why it's important to know your plants. Now, the reason why I picked this plant to study today is because I'm working on my olive garden. And in the olive garden, my plants are full sun and part shade, because different things are going to be growing, may cast a canopy. The sun comes at different times and then it's shaded other times. So you have to be mindful of that, right? So it's part full sun to partial shade. The soil, it likes average, well drained soil. Average. And I hope y'all are writing this down because it's going to help you. And if you have cats, it's actually really good to have around because they absolutely love this stuff. All right. And then you want to, if you have a cat, while you drinking tea, your cat loves this stuff. Okay. So make some for your cat too. All right. So we are collecting the seeds and the flowers and the leaves. And then we're going to cut this thing all the way back and we're going to plant it in the olive garden. That is the goal. So I'm taking the leaves off so that they can dry. Listen, let me tell you something. Most plants have a 360-degree life. It just keeps going. Y'all, living for eternity is God's thing. That's how he created us, to live for eternity. And the evolution of a thing keeps going and going and going and going. All right. So that is why we talk about living for eternity the way that we do. All right. So what else do you need to know about this here catnip? Okay, the best way to propagate it is divide in the spring or take tip cuttings in the summer. Tip cuttings would be this. Cut this back, put it in some water. You want to cut it. Make sure that you're not spending too much energy. You want to make sure there's not too many leaves up here, because when you propagate, you want the energy to be spent making roots. All right? That is how you propagate. You want it. Now, I'm not a horticulturalist, but y'all, I study plants and I create some things. You hear, it's by experience. When you love to do something, you want to know, you want to understand, and then you want to have the wisdom to apply. All right. So these are the flowers, and they smell so good. And we about to clip that bud off. I'm not propagating these because I don't really desire to propagate them. But I want them to grow. I'm going to plant them so they can grow back in the yard. And they're going to grow back more and more and more and more. And I'm also cutting them back so that they can keep growing. Because why? I can keep getting the leaves for my cats, for my felines. What else do you need to know? They are hardy in zones 8 to 1. So they hardy everywhere. Oh, not 9. Oh, wait a minute, no. They are hardy in zones 3 to 9. So I don't know what zone you're in. And that is also very important for us to remember, especially when we're watching these channels out here, because these people, they are in different zones. And a lot of times we think we can do what they're doing, and we don't live in that temperature. We don't live in that climate, or our climate doesn't, our zone isn't, that is not the time that we should be planting a thing. And I think that that's important for you to know your zone. When you know your zone, you can do better. All right. So make sure that you know your zone. However, let me just share this. With climate change being the way that it is, our climates are changing all the time. So we really don't know what the timing of our climate. You just have to kind of, get a feel for where you are. know, talk to your, get your farmer's almanac, talk to your local farm agency there in your county. How do you know when to water your plants? Well, it'll tell you watering. So, for example, it says here that my plant, this particular, let's talk about this particular plant. It says here that it likes well drained soil. It didn't say that it was, maybe it says a little, some other things in the body of this, problems and solutions. So let me see. I'm believing that terrific containers, good neighbors, low growing catmints work well as borders. Problems and solutions. Let's talk about that. I'm trying to see. Other than feline, catmints have few enemies. In fact, rodents, rabbits, and even deer avoid them. Oh, y'all got that part? Other than felines, catmints have few enemies. In fact, rodents, rabbits, and even deer avoid them. So planting them as an edging plant may just keep a few of your garden enemies at bay. Y'all, this is really good to me, and here's why. And I'm going to answer your question about that water in a second, how I know when to water stuff. Um, I have bowls. I have seen the holes. They around here. So they little pesky jokers that lift the ground up. But I be planting stuff everywhere, and I do plant deer resistant, mold resistant things. Now I know about this catnip, baby. We about to put some a little bit everywhere, right? We about to put these seeds down. so, so in answer to the watering, um, I don't. The way I build my garden, to be quite honest with you, I use the Eden effect. So all of my beds have wood chips in them, right? So I don't have a watering issue, right? Um, because my soil retains its moisture because of the wood chips in the beds. Like I have wood chips along the pathways, but that's just to keep the grass down. And the more I see that, the more I want to take those wood chips up and put down some fabric cloth. Because I'd rather have the fabric cloth down there than to have the wood waste of wood chips. The wood chips are the wood chips again are designed to be used to keep the moisture in your soil and to keep your soil from drying out. On a good day, I will hear, if I hear a tree cutter, I'm going to chase down the tree cutter in my neighborhood because I know that they're about to give up. They're about some wood is about to be chipped. And what I generally do is get them to drop it off outside of my garden, my homestead, because we're fenced in. So I get them to drop it off beyond that, y'all, right back there beyond that fence is a huge wood pile. Is a huge wood pile. So be mindful that your wood chips, you can even get on. They have something called chip drop, but I tried chip drop and I never got any chips. So I just chase down my tree cutters, and I get that good stuff that be on fire for a while. Them pine trees with that good smoke be coming. It smell like pine over here for days because that be that fresh pine. So so that's what I do in my watering situation. If it actually dries out, like my things that are real sunny need sun, you plant them in the sun, so they don't get as much moisture. Make sure you have them, like, again, in a well drained soil. This is why looking at your plant profiles is so important, because if you don't know what your plant profiles are and you just plop a plant into the ground and you don't know where, if it's going to do well there, then you are wasting your money. We're not wasting money over here. We are building strong home economies, okay? And strong mini homestead, right? We're building strong mini homestead retreat spaces over here. So want you to make sure that we're doing sustainable living. We have you have to do this thing to sustain, not to just merely have for the moment, but we are living to sustain the things that we create. All right. And what does that mean? That means that we whatever you put in the ground, you want it to live so it can live again. All right. She says, Elisa says, what kinds of plants do you have? Oh, so Elisa, and like I said, I have so many plants that I can't name them all, but what I'm trying to do now is go one by one as I am treating them, as I'm caring for them, so that I can identify and learn about them and I can share them with you as well. But if I might take you, this is my garden. Let me just give you a quick view. So I create plants, plant baskets, I hydrangea, whatever. These I just propagated yesterday. And this is the propagations from those yesterday. So I'm gonna have 7 more. I believe in not just creating, but I really do believe in getting more for my money. My beans here are these are my beans I just planted. They are coming up beautifully. I think they grow every time I turn my back. I think they grow some more. Honestly, I think that's what's happening. I took some apple seeds that I ate, and these are apples. This is apple trees. I've got apple trees from seeds that I ate. I do not mess around when it comes. This is my small patio deck. I have lemons, I have limes, I have strawberries. This is my olive garden really quickly that I redid yesterday, day before yesterday. And so this is the one that I'm working on for the catnip. So I'm putting in evergreens because I had to dig the bed up so I could put some evergreens in because I don't like I like things to keep coming back. This is a small patio garden. We have tomatoes, peppers, um, avocados. They're 4 years. They should yield soon. Lemons, blueberries. Don't know what that one is. Lavender, but that's a perennial, so it's going in the garden. Holy basil. This is the greenhouse. Lots of things growing in the greenhouse. I grow in pans. Like I said, I grow in pots. I grow in whatever I can grow in. You hear me? Yes, I do. I sell my plants um, because that's my desire. These are my tomatillos, y'all. This is the first year I had tomatillos, and they are so good. This is my wood project. This is all my stuff I'm working on. This is an area where I keep my wood, so I'm working on. This is my water system over here. That's my orchard back there. This is part of the central garden. This is all of this, y'all, is food. Um, so this is a path. This is peppers, squash, um, peppers, blueberries, more grapevine. Let me see back there. Let me see what that is. Make sure that's not okay. The assassin. These are my grapevines. I have lots of grapes. They are now turning. They're now turning grapes, so I'm loving that for me because I'm actually getting grapes. It's fire, right? This is my banana tree. I'm getting ready to plant some cucumbers and some things back here because this is cool. I'm gonna plant some lettuce. Put some lettuce bags back here. The muscadines are growing. This is a very cool area back here. Well, y'all see those muscadines? We got 2 more over there that are growing up. This netting that I put up so that they could grow. But this banana tree is off the chain. Look at it. It's off the chain. But let me show you something else. So I share a lot, but on different days. This is my massive watermelon patch that's growing right now. I've got about 20 melons that are growing here right now. They're just starting to grow. And here's a little baby that's starting right now. There's quite a few little babies. Look. Oh, that one fell off. Oh, look at here. It fell off. So that one didn't get pollinated, but there's A lot of them out here. I just see them. They're just laying on the ground. I'm going to wait till they get a little bit stronger. And then I've got peaches. This is my orchard. I'm just giving you a quick tour. This is also another watermelon volunteer. I didn't plant these watermelons. They're volunteers. This is a collards. This is my, all along here is my roselle. This is my blueberry. I got to cut this baby back, so we'll be talking a lot about that. But it's still producing mass blueberries in here. It's been producing for quite a while. Um, the grape is coming all the way around. We've got figs that are just loaded. Zinnia cut gardens. We have strawberries. We have greens. We have lemongrass, apple. We have, oh, we got basil trees. My basils are literally trees. So we'll have lots of pesto. Okra, this is my okra bed. We have some citrus back here, lemon. This is orange. Oh, it's finally starting to flower. Yay, the clementines be beautiful, y'all. I'm gonna have to fence that in. These is peppers, habaneros, and all kinds of peppers growing back here. This is my asparagus bed. See, like I told y'all that I put the wood chips in. The wood chips keeps things growing on the hottest and hottest of days. This is a view of the garden from the back. My corn didn't do so well, but I'm thinking about planting some more. So, but I'm gonna plant directly into, probably might even plant it right here. I'm not sure. But this is where the log cabin is gonna be. It's gonna be an ADU, 125 square feet back here. This is two more beds. I'm about to plant some black beans, a variety of beans in these right here. Again, I put a lot of basil in as a protection. So when you grow anything, if you don't grow anything else, you get that basil going because the basil is going to be the thing that protects your plants from the pests. All right, this is my sweet potato bed. Really quickly, sweet potatoes, just planted those. This is a garden. This is going to be a rock garden, still working on that. These is also tomato bed. This is carrots. We got carrots, we got celery, we have kale. I just picked these yesterday, so there's not many of them left right there. Stevia, my own sweetener. I have lots of carrot beds, celery. This is another view over here. We have tomatoes. We have more celery. We have cucumbers back here. These are looking a little parched. These are because they're in bags. But let me go up this way. These are potatoes. Here, a little bit of cabbage right there. And you see the peppers, they're growing. You see it? Peppers. We got peppers, bell peppers. This one is a full bed. This is a eggplant, tomatoes, collard greens. This is cucumbers. They are developing, as you can see right there. These are peppers, flowers. I love flowers. Herbs, have lots of herbs. Here, lots of herbs. This is onions, tomatoes, peppers, collards. So I grow in a lot of things. Anyway, that's a quick tour. That's a really quick tour. I hope that helped. Okay, so let's get back to this catnip. Woo! That was kind of so hot. This is my cooling station. Woo! This is my cooling station. All right, so again, we're talking about, you're welcome. We are talking about for those of you who are just joining, we're talking about catmint, which is otherwise known as Nepeta catnip. It's a perennial that cats favorite plaything they like to play with. So I may even have some in the house, put some in the house as well, because they like to nip on my plants in the house, and I have a lot of plants in the house. But I'm going to get them a plant of their own so that they can play with it, because they love to play and chase and all the things. Cats get the zoomies and they be needing things. They be needing a place to hang out. So we have to make space for them to be happy. I think God has given me a second chance with cats because I was so bad with them when I was young. I just didn't know how to take care of a cat. Oh, a lot of ants up here. Let's get rid of those, because what we're not doing is taking these ants in the house inside of our books. Inside of my books. I love books, and every day I'm on a mission. So again, for those of you who are here, I am taking this catnip. So I'm going to be putting it into the, it is an herb, and I'm going to be putting it into the dryer to dry. Um, some problems and solutions. Let's talk about that. Some problems and solutions: that catnips are not as attractive to cats as common catnip. Ornamental catnip is not as attractive to cats as actual catnip. Now, this is actual catnip. Okay, so they're gonna love this. So they still have appeal, especially when the leaves or stems are broken, releasing the aroma into the air. They love the smell. See, these are things that I did not know. I didn't open the garden today, hearing all these noises back there. I usually open it every morning, trying to get into the practice of opening the gates. Um, we're hoping to get our community outside garden, which we have a small bed, some small beds out there. I'm looking now at some of my base plants that need to go there, evergreens that can go there first, that are deer resistant, because I have deer that just walk through the neighborhood like they dogs. and there's and there's no leash laws for the deer. There's leash laws for the dogs. But they be over here. They ate my tiger lilies that were around my mailbox. They just swallowed them whole. Wild. And I came out one day. I had the morning, the day before, I had a beautiful. When I tell you, I had some beautiful tiger lilies, and then one day I came out and there were no tiger lilies, no blooms left. I'm like, who would do such a thing? I was so hurt. I felt so violated. But we looked at cameras. My neighbors looked at their cameras, and they said, well, at such and such a time, they were still there. And then at such and such a time, they weren't there anymore. So it was during the time that the actual deer are out here grazing. So they took them bad boys. They took them. And how I knew it was them is I began to look at the rest of the plants in the front gardenscape space, and I realized that they had been eating the hostas, and they love hostas. Some of them they ate off of, some of them they didn't, but I could tell it was an animal, and so I knew it was the deer. So I said, no, that wasn't a human. That was a deer. That was a deer that ate that. And yeah, I was offended. I was really offended, y'all. So anyway, we have gotten the blooms. I've gotten all the blooms, and we are going to let these dry. I'm thinking that these are very much like lavender if you get them while they're in the half, because what I really want is the seeds. So I'm going to let these dry out so I can get to the seeds. And I'm going to plate these herbs. Culinary plates. We're going to plate these because these are going to go in our dryer. We're going to put these somewhere to dry out. All right. So I have a whole plant that I've been working on, and I've cut down half of it. It's nice and moist, and I was trying to get all of the leaves off of it, the dry leaves off of it, because um, I just want it to look pretty. So I was trying to get all the leaves off. All the dry leaves. We're going to plate those. This is our culinary experience. Our culinary experience for today. We just want the leaf. We don't want the stems. And another thing to remember is that we have to begin saving seeds. You have to save seeds. It's not a choice anymore, because if we were to ever have to run to the hills and you didn't have anything but your seeds, you could eat. And the seeds to have are your lettuce, your quick growing seeds that could grow into microgreens. Because if you all you had was those, then you good, because they grow in a couple of days. You cut them off, cut and come again. So we have to be they're animals at my house and eat my plants. Well, you talking about stray animals or dogs. Chickens will eat your plants too, but my chickens don't free range. I give them an area to where they can free range. And right now I'm actually building out a garden for them because they need to have greens. Since I'm not letting them tear my garden up. So so I'm not letting them tear my garden up. They will dig up everything. I have lemongrass and they dug it all up. I have a lemongrass patch over here on the side. And amazingly, it's doing so well. It's not parched or anything. It doesn't need a whole lot of sun. We thought it needed a lot of sun, but it doesn't, y'all. Let me show y'all. Uh-oh. The catnip about to fly away. Hold on. Let me put something down. Because we have a windy... Oh, that's a snail. How that snail get on me like that? Um, you don't know what kinds... Oh, little animal... Is it outside? Put some catnip down. We just read about it. We just read about it. You better go get you some catnip. And put near the plants you don't want them to eat. So this is the lemongrass patch. And it's right near the chickens. Because I was letting them run out here. Like, I was letting them use this as a run. But baby, they come out here and dig the thing up. They dig the whole plant up. Imagine that if you was a chicken. And you could come out here and you can nip off of the lemongrass. But baby, they don't know how to behave. They don't know how to behave. They want to come out here and dig up every single plant. And this is not for them to dig up. Look at them. Usually I can tell when things are about to happen because my chickens be going haywire. They might want to come in, but I'm not letting them in because they have a shelter. They have a little shelter out here too that I made for them that they can go in. Um, Fuss all you want, but you staying outside. Stay outside and play. Y'all remember when y'all parents used to tell y'all go outside? Y'all remember when y'all anybody remember that when our parents used to tell us to go outside and play? Okay, so you said you don't know what is killing your plants, but we have just read that catnip is good. That was what your mom said. Go outside and play. That's right. That's what I'm telling them. Go outside and play. Y'all want to be stuck up in the house. Go outside. They be fussing to want to get in. I'm glad the door ain't swinging, right? But anyway, we talked about catnip today. We talked about its profile, the plant's profile, what it's good for, some growing tips. We talked about its neighbors. Low growing catmints work well as border plants in the front of other substantial plants such as peonies and roses. So if you have peonies in your garden and roses, then pair catnip with the red flowers such as red valerian, garden view scarlet bee balm, or I don't want none of that in my yard. No Lucifer. It said Lucifer. Baby, I don't want none of that in my yard. Even for no eye-catching combination. I don't want no Lucifer in my yard. They can have that. And it says here, okay, so it says in the problem and solution, we talked about the problems and solution. They say they still have appeal even if they're not ornamental, but we don't want no ornamental. Y'all get that catnip, that flowers, so y'all can get them seeds. All right, and we also talked about the colors that you need to look for: blue, lavender, pink, or white. Those are the flowers, right? Um, When the leaves or stems are broken, they release an aroma in the air. Since you'll probably damage a few leaves when you plant catnip, cover each plant with a dome of chicken wire as a cat barrier because the cats is coming for it because of the smell. Okay? Let me see who this is. All right, so you want to make sure you cover it up because they coming for the smell. Other things for a few days. Remove the barriers and cats will leave your plants alone. Other than felines, catmints, like we said, have few enemies. In fact, rodents, rabbits, and even deer avoid them. So, Elisa, if those things avoid, it might be worth putting it down. Or it might just be worth drying up some leaves and putting those leaves down. Because when I take dry leaves off of a plant, sometimes I just take the leaf and like the basil. When I take the tops off the basil, because the basil it gives off an aroma that comes all over the garden. I'll take it and throw it back into the garden. So I'm probably gonna have volunteers, but then I'm also gonna have it deters. It deters the pests, and that's what we want to do. Yeah. So anyway, that was our plant tip of the day: catnip. Y'all go plant y'all some catnip. I am Dr. Eve, living and talking about all things sustainable living as we build out our micro homestead retreat space here on the grounds. And I hope you have an amazing day. Whatever you do, don't let anyone get in the way on your journey to living eternally. All right. Peace and blessings to you. See you on the next video. Bye for now.